Teen Scene. I'm Amber Thomas.
And I'm Cooper Correvo.
And today we're doing a special Teen Scene telethon for Ignatius Ellinger.
Well, welcome back to the telethon. We're here with the director of the Maryland Women's Center, Jill Moss Greenberg.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and I'm especially glad to be on the same program with Helen Bentley. You were fortunate enough to have the embodiment of living history here with you for this taping. And I hope that you really heard her message. We are very honored to have her serve on the honorary board of the Maryland Women's Heritage Center, where you've been taping Teen Scene for the last couple of years. But she has been working for decades at a time when it was very difficult for women to break into any of these areas. And I had to laugh when she said that John Volpe in the Nixon administration said a woman couldn't handle that position. He never dealt with Helen Bentley because there's no way that she couldn't handle whatever came before her. And I think when you heard that story of what wasn't offered to her, then what wasn't offered to her, and then what she insisted upon and wouldn't accept it, and was very clear. Not only her being a woman, but the background she had with shipping and with ships and with the ports, which a person from Ohio, of course, didn't have. It's not near a coast. And it was very important. And those are the things that for you as young people, as you move forward, don't sell yourself short. Know that it's important to use the passion that you have, the things you believe in, and stand up for those. If you're in a wheelchair, wheel forward for those like Ignatius does. But really, don't be told what you can't do. One of the women we have in the Hall of Fame here named Pauli Murray was turned down from UNC because she was African American. She was turned down from Harvard because she was a woman. This was a while ago. And she ended up becoming one of the first African American woman actually to be an Episcopal priest. She became a priest, she became a lawyer, she became an author, and she was an activist. This was after she was told she couldn't do either because of being a woman and being a woman of color. And the other one I'd like to use as an example is our Mary Cleave, who's in our STEM exhibit, who's the astronaut from NASA with whom we've worked. Because Mary also was told she wanted to fly. I don't know if any of you ever wanted to have the vision of flying a plane. And Mary had this idea when she was a child, when she was a teen, she wanted to fly. So she took flying lessons. She convinced her parents. Her mother drove her to the airport near their home. She took lessons, and by the time she was 16, she had a pilot's license.
Wow, that's great.
By the time she was 18, she had a commercial pilot's license. Well, when she finished school, she wanted to become a pilot. But guess who couldn't become pilots? Women. Right. So she couldn't become a pilot. So she thought, well, I really want to fly, so maybe then I'll become a flight attendant. At least I'll get to go up in the air regularly because I love that so much. They told her she couldn't become a flight attendant because she was too short. So she was turned down to become a flight attendant. And so what did she do?
Became an astronaut?
She went back to school, became an engineer. She said, what will qualify me to go and fly? She became an engineer. She qualified for NASA, and she went up in space on 2 different space shuttle missions. And I always like to say she flew higher than all those people who told her she couldn't fly. And I think if you keep that image in your mind, that there's no height you can't reach as long as you're clear on what your beliefs, what you care about, and have a passion for achieving it. And don't accept being thought less of. Don't accept being given half a loaf when you deserve the full position or you deserve the full opportunity. And we believe all of you deserve that. And that's why our motto for the Women's Heritage Center is what's behind us, of adding her story to his story to tell our story. Because we believe in the opportunity for everybody, not just some of us.
Thank you for all you've done.
I want to thank all of you for being part of Teen Scene and especially being part of today for this special telethon. It means so much that you are today taking the priority to look out for Ignatius and to help raise funds for him and for his family. It's just the kind of thing that our democracy is about, that we ought to be working toward together to do these things, and you are just our hope for the future. So we thank you very much for all you do with Teen Scene, and especially for what you've done today for the telethon to help raise funds for Ignatius.
Who do you think is the most unique person and has the best story in this movie?
That's such a hard question to respond to, because obviously I'm biased and feel like pretty much everyone we're highlighting here is unique and has made important contributions. What's important about this center is that we're acknowledging those unsung things that women have done all the time. It's like, if you're in the hospital, you'll usually know the doctor's name, but not the nurses, and usually the nurses are women, and usually, nowadays, thanks to a lot of work by people, it's not always that way. We have male nurses and women doctors more. In the front of the Heritage Center is the Maryland Women's Hall of Fame, and those are women who've done outstanding things, not just for our state or our country, but often the world. Like we have Harriet Tubman up there that I'm sure most of you studied in school, who was called the Black Moses and who helped slaves escape to freedom. We also have, though, a person like Rachel Carson, who actually, do you know her name?
I can't say that I do.
Okay, she was the person who really started the modern environmental movement. Now, you've heard about the environment and all the emphasis on cleaning it up, and she was the first who pointed out the harm that pesticides did for people.
So like Go Green?
Yeah, she was the mom, really the godmother of all of that, because she was the first one. She had a lot of courage, and talking about people who have a disabling condition, even toward the end of her life, when she was toward the end, had cancer, she went and testified in Congress while wearing a wig because she had lost all her hair, and she was still out there testifying on behalf of protecting the next generation from the pesticides. I also, though, want to say that while the Hall of Fame people, like these two women who are known throughout the world, is important, maybe for me the most important part is the gallery we have on the unsung heroines. And those are the ones, that whole row across near the window. Those are the people who aren't famous, but who have done so much for our families, for our communities, for our schools, for our world. And for each of us has an unsung heroine. Can you think of some woman who's made a difference in your life?
My mom definitely has.
Definitely.
My mother and my grandmother.
Okay, and that's usually when people say, sometimes youngsters say their teachers. We've had people say their crossing guard because that was the only person who listens to them. It takes a lot of different things, but you can see in this family how much importance. So let's say Winnie Erlinga could be an unsung heroine and belongs in that gallery, and her mother Mary, I'm sure, does too, and Joan for starting the fundraising, and all of these are things that won't make them famous to be in the Hall of Fame, but it's very important, and none of this would happen without them. And so we try and recognize all all of that. Then the other part I wanted to mention that's at the center right now, in part because we have a partnership with the women at the NASA Goddard Space Center in Greenbelt, that we have a lot of things here about STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. Do you have STEM programs at your school? Sound familiar?
I used to, but they got rid of that in lieu of standardized testing.
And Lewis. Okay, and that's a much longer discussion, so we'll stick with the STEM. But we have a lot, we worked with the women at NASA Goddard, and we have great posters and a book about the women at Goddard and a touchscreen TV. You can learn their stories. But also, on the wall where we're sitting a little further down, we also have artifacts that astronaut Mary Cleave took into space with her. And she has donated to us that shirt that she actually wore into space, her logbook, and she comes and works with students here at the center.
I plan on going into like astronomy related things. So
Well, you should definitely come back when we have programs on these issues, because it's unusual to have them, and we'd love to help encourage that interest.
I'd love to be a girl that makes a difference in the world. That would be so cool.
It's really inspiring, right?
Well, you've started to make a difference by being involved with Teen Scene, because all the programs that you do help inform the community, help excite other teens to do good things, and so I feel proud of all of you too.
Everyone has a voice. So.
I think teenagers definitely get the wrong idea. Adults get the wrong idea of teenagers, but some teenagers can really make a difference.
Yeah,
Thank you for being on the show today.
very welcome. Thank you for having me on.
A lot of interesting things going on when it comes to careers in science, technology, engineering, and math, and it's really exciting to be able to share some of them with you. This is a very exciting career for kids, any kid, but in particular we'd like to encourage girls to think about being an engineer or a scientist, because it's really a fun career. I worked for over 30 years as an engineer, and I can't think of anything I could do that would have been more fun than what I did, and what I'm still doing, in fact. So it's really a great thing to consider. So I'm going to show you some clips. Come on with me on the trip.
That was one of the crew pictures we took that kind of said what everybody was going to do on the mission.
Being led out really by mission specialist Norm Thagard, Mark Lee, Mary Cleave, and the commander and pilot Commander Dave Walker waving, and pilot Ron Graby waving. T-minus 15, 14, 13, and liftoff.
7 feet per second. Atlantic 2 miles down.
Brewster and Brian and Murray in the flight deck. They're preparing for the first of the 2 spacewalks. Three of us, Murray, Woody and myself, dubbed ourselves the Ace Construction Company with the supporting crew of the rest of the crew, and we put up our advertisement after we'd completed the construction of the first access truss.
The arm flies wonderfully. It's just such a great tool. Real smooth and no surprises. Being able to interact with them, and they gave me some real good directions while we were up there.
Mary took most of these motion picture earth views that we've got, and this is one way she did it.
We had a mid-deck experiment called a fluid experiment apparatus, which you can see here. My hands are inside of this. It's a little furnace. We were growing indium crystals. It was really an excellent mid-deck for us. We controlled it with our little experiment computer, which worked great, different floppy disks for each experimental run.
Here's Mary at the overhead windows. This is our primary vantage point for Earth observation photography.
Yeah, I sort of shared doing the food cooking duties. Whoever got hungry first seemed to be the person that would end up cooking. But It's actually a lot easier in 0G going up the stairs. In 1G, you have to be careful and take the trays one at a time, these bags, before we unpack them. You can see it took up a lot of space down here. A lot of times at work, I feel like I'm running around in circles, and so I tried actually running around in circles, and it worked up there, and it was a lot of fun.
Walker?
It's been fun working with you here and showing you a little bit about what NASA does, and I hope that we have a great time. Hope that you have a good time too. It's been great talking to you.
I'm Director of Special Education in Warren County Public Schools. I participate in Challenger, have for the last, 8 or 9 years. I umpire, I announce, just a friend of the league. It's a great opportunity to interact with the students and the parents in Warren County.
Number 2, Fernando Kitchen and Bath. The crowd goes wild. Consistent hitter throughout the air.
The announcers do make the games feel real for the kids. It's an opportunity for them to hear their name over the PA, the public broadcasting system. It lets them hear their name multiple times. So I try to say their name when they're on base, when they're batting, when they're in the field, so they feel like they're really part of a live baseball game. Part of this is awareness. We just, Challenger, we're trying to make that part of the culture, and not try. It is part of the culture of Front Row. I think they're interwoven into the Little League. But how can the public help? Well, you can contribute. We go to the biggest Little League Jamboree, Challenger Little League Jamboree in the world every summer, and we take all the parents at no cost. So if they want to contribute either donations, that would be wonderful, or their time, that'd be fantastic.
Hi, I'm Sharon Kendall. I am Front Row Little League Challenger Commissioner, and I'd like to welcome you all to the game today. Today is our last game and our award ceremony and our picnic. Challenger is a division for mentally and physically handicapped children to be able to play baseball like the rest of the kids get to play with Little League. We have all disabilities. We have wheelchair, we have autism, we have ADD, a wide variety. We mix all the ages together, and there is no win or lose. Everybody wins with Challenger. We have buddies for the kids. A large majority of the kids, especially like my little one, is in a wheelchair and he cannot hold a bat, so he has a buddy that helps him put his hands on the bat, and he knocks his off of the tee. Some of the kids can actually hit the ball themselves, but they need some guidance making it base to base, and so they just walk along beside them. Walk, run, to encourage them, and they are referred to as their buddy.
We're about to get underway in J1 Challenger Baseball Division. There's a smash up the middle of Carly Jenkins. Heading first base, running a nice ground ball. Foresight getting in there is number 1, Ignatius Alexander.
Hi, I'm Winnie Ellinger. I'm Ignatius's mom, and I want to thank everyone for coming today and helping us try to raise funds for an accessible van for Ignatius. A lot of people are wondering why there are certain organizations that we haven't contacted. We have contacted a lot of organizations, and Ignatius is not eligible. I'll give you an example. The Virginia Department Brain Injury Fund only gives money to families who have a brain injury due to doctor or nurse negligence at birth. And that doesn't apply to Ignatius. He was born with a disability. It wasn't anyone's negligence, just the beautiful way that God made him. So this is, in a lot of places that we have contacted, he's not eligible for funds through them. And so we're trying to raise funds through the Ignatius Ellinger Fund to get an accessible van to take him to all of his activities and appointments. And thank you all for helping.
We're here with Andy Capp from the Norris Automotive Group. He's helping us try to get a van for Ignatius, our grandson. We need a van that's handicap accessible so that my daughter can transport Ignatius back and forth. And we just want to thank Andy for bringing the van down for us today and for helping us out. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We want to thank Norris Automotive Group for their generous use of their vehicle for this time.
We want to thank everybody for the day. It's been wonderful, but we especially want to thank Andy Capp, who brought the van down for us to see, and he is with the Norris Automotive Group. And I think I would like him to help tell us a little about how the handicap van accessible goes, how we do that.
Well, to begin with, when you come into the dealership and you pick out the van that you have, you can get either a side lift or you want to get a lift into the back of the truck, and then you give the arrangements to have it come out or taken out and having all that equipment installed. And that way it's to your, whatever your specifications, and they'll make it to you whatever you want. So they can take like the middle seat out so that if with a wheelchair you can have the lift come up, and then you can go right inside, and they have a place where you can lock the wheelchair down so it doesn't move, and everything can be taken care of. And they do a very nice job, and it's very good for the people, and it's easier for the people to handle them.
Oh, that's great. That's just what we need, because it's hard for my daughter to lift that wheelchair in and out, and my grandson, and put him in the car seat and all that, so that's wonderful.
But they have, we would send it out, and again, it's the side lift, and then we just lift it up and bring it in, and that just folds into the, either folds in or just folds up, whichever way you want it done.
We spoke with dealership, Wayne's Automotive Group, and they, in Waynesboro, Virginia, they recommended for Ignatius's age to have a side entry versus a rear entry because it's less jostling feeling in the van.
Right. Again, I say they could put the side entry in for you, and the lift would come up, and then you could go into the van itself. And with the wheelchair, it would be locked down so that it doesn't move while you're in transit. Then you unlock it, put it down the lift, and then bring it out, bring it back to the ground again.
Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you for bringing the van, allowing us to use it for the day. And do you have contact information that we can
Yes,
give to the
we
audience?
have Brian Marshall over at the dealership, or Brian Cook. You can contact them, and they can make the arrangements to have that and show you what is available and how it goes into the truck. Yeah, that way you come down to the dealership and they can make arrangements to your specifications, the main thing, so that you're happy with it and that it's very functional.
And that is Norris Ford, if anybody's interested.
Norris Automotive Group.
Norris Automotive Group.
Yes, we sell Ford, Honda, Nissan, and Acura. So that's our group itself, and the family's been in business. We've been a Ford dealer for 97 years, so we've been around for a while.
Would you like to give us your location?
We are the Ford dealership and the Honda dealership is located on Merritt Boulevard, 900 block of Merritt Boulevard in Dundalk, and our Acura and Nissan store are on Route 40 West in Ellicott City. And again, both places would be happy to handle stuff for you, take care of it.
Okay, so we also would like to thank Helen Bentley for coming down and supporting us and getting us a car dealership. Jill Greenberg, who runs the Women's Heritage Center, here has been nice enough to let us have the show here. And of course, LORETTO GUBERNATIS, who is our producer and director. And all the teen scene girls who have done, and gentlemen, who have done a wonderful job to help us and Winnie and I and Tom and Tim and of course Ignatius are all grateful for your help. Thank you.
So that's all for the teen scene today. I'm Cooper Carevo.
And I'm Amber Thomas.
And we will see you next time.